What's up everyone, and welcome to Jayconomics. My name is Jay and it's a pleasure to meet all of you. On this channel, we take a look at anything related to finance with a strong focus on investing. So if that sounds like something you want to be a part of, then please consider subscribing and liking this video to help me on my quest to befriend the big, bad YouTube algorithm. What's up everyone, and welcome back to Jayconomics. In this video, we're going to talk about one of my favorite stocks that has absolutely been exploding in the last week or so, and though I'm up over 900%, so yes, a 10x on this stock right now, in my opinion, it's just only getting started. I covered it here on this channel exactly 2 months ago, saying that it was one of the stocks that had immense potential to be literally world-changing if the management team was able to execute their vision. Before we get into it, if you want to grow your portfolio exponentially, be sure to check out our Smart Money Squad Patreon. There are various tiers for your goals and budget. You get my buy and sell alerts instantly, my weekly watch list and entry points every Sunday, as well as updates throughout the week whenever I see something interesting in the market, and of course, access to the private Discord. The link for that is in the description below. We also have a free Discord with over 3,000 investors, so be sure to join that. And we are also on Instagram as well, so hit us up at Jayconomics with a follow on IG. Those links are also in the description below. So make that thumbs up turn blue and subscribe if you're new. It really does help the channel grow. And now without further ado, let's get into the video.
And then stablecoins, super interesting. I think people probably saw, with Visa, they announced this week that they're going to start experimenting with USDC stablecoins, which is what we work with through partners. So if you're a merchant in like a currency fluctuation zone, like Latin America, for example, where, you see countries where their currency fluctuates 25% to the downside versus the dollar, these are very real tools that are critical for folks to be able to park their money into US dollar stablecoins and things like that. So we have that capability. And as we get regulatory clearances from different countries and domiciles, we'll be moving quickly on that as well.
Wow, what a beast of a stock and what a beast of a company this will prove to be. Humbl, which is still trading under the ticker symbol TSNP for a little while longer, is trying to deliver high-quality, low-cost digital payments and financial services, but they target mostly the emerging markets. As I mentioned in my previous TSNP Humbl video in early December when the stock price was 20 cents, I believe this offered investors with diamond hands and strong conviction an opportunity of a lifetime to get into a game-changing stock at the ground floor, not only for your wallet, but also for the billions of people this company's solutions will benefit. TSNP investors were tested not too long after that video came out, as the price went up 50% to around 30 cents, just to drop 66% back down to around 10 cents. At this point, this is when conviction is needed, right? Because when you see a massive drop like this, well, if you have conviction, well, then you're going to add to your position if you already had one, or you're going to start building your position there, right? So, of course, at this time, this is when smart keyboard warriors came trash-talking the video and called it a pump and dump, with zero evidence and no logical explanation behind their faulty thesis. I found this really entertaining as I knew what this stock offered and what this company was building. Now, if you know me and if you know this channel by now, then you know what we're all about: building wealth exponentially. No pump and dumps, we don't need that stuff. And so this was also around the same time that I was screaming about a buying opportunity on Patreon. As a result, a lot of my Patreon members have held through and made a ton of money on this investment. As of this recording, the stock price has now 17x'd since those lows. Now, I highly doubt that we're going to hold this level. I'm expecting probably a close maybe in the 120, 130, 140 range, somewhere around that. But to be honest, closing above $1 would be a tremendous feat considering where we were just like a week ago. And so, and on top of that, this insane run is a clear look into what's to come. So yeah. Now, I also want to make something very clear here. I do not make decisions about my holdings based on stock price. I'm always looking at the business behind it. I'll go into that more in depth to explain what I mean, but first, let's catch up on some news that TSNP and Humbl have released that have been catalysts for this price action. So the first came on January 29th, and this is when Humbl Studios announced the launch of the Humbl Shop, where users can go on and they can order Humbl products and Humbl merchandise, depending on whatever country you're in. And so, and on top of that, this uses the blockchain, so it's really cool. But this is not the bigger catalyst, and the bigger catalyst was on February 2nd when Humbl Financial launched their Block ETX products in over 100 countries. And what the ETX is for them is basically just an ETF, but through the blockchain, which offers exposure to a bunch of different cryptocurrencies. And so, there are different blocks that you can choose from, and each one has a different portfolio allocation with different cryptocurrencies. So, you can do your research and see, okay, how do I want to, or like what cryptos or what cryptocurrencies do I want exposure to? And so, this is really cool as well. And this is available in over 100 countries, not the US though, actually, but a lot of different other countries. And if you look at the returns here, like, if you compare this even to ARK, like, this makes ARK look childlike even in terms of the ETF. So it's, they're definitely onto something here. And, Brian Foote, the CEO of Humbl, he calls this a critical step in the journey, of pretty much expanding and, developing a platform that is going to allow everybody to invest and trade and, pretty much expanding into different asset types, so it gives access. It's just such a cool mission to have. And I think this is going to be massive for this company. Having traveled around the world and having been on the ground in emerging countries all across the globe, most notably Southeast Asia and Vietnam specifically, as I lived there for 2 years, I saw a trend and I understood the need for the solution that Humbl is offering in these underserved markets. And as I've spoken about extensively in my C Limited video back in September 2020, people live through their phones over there. Everyone has a smartphone, almost, and the growth of the mobile commerce industry over there has been staggering. Now, the global mobile payment market size is expected to grow to $12.06 trillion by 2027 at 30.1% CAGR. Again, this is what I said in my last TSNP Humbl video.
Humbl has the potential to be the next PayPal for emerging markets, and that is not something to take lightly. I do truly believe that this is one of those set it and forget it type of deals, and pretty much just look at it in 5 to 10 years. Potentially a millionaire maker stock if they are able to execute their vision.
So that still rings true. And, if anything, the way that they're getting things done is, and I sat through the investor call and again, like what they're doing is legitimately going to change the financial landscape in these emerging countries. And so, it's tough to put like a value on that. I think it's just so invaluable that I'm just so looking forward to seeing how this all plays out. And I'm happy to be along for the ride. Also, keep in mind that there will be PR for the Humbl app and the ticker has not even changed yet. This is still a baby. And so, for people asking, is it too late to get in or I missed the run up? People were saying that at 10 cents, at 20 cents, at 30 cents, right? People were saying that. And so, I would just ignore the noise. Do your research. Look into this market. Look into this company. Do your due diligence. In terms of short-term entry points, yeah, of course, be careful. The stock has ran up a lot, right? And so we're bound to see some sort of pullback. I'm sure we'll see a pullback today, right? So, just be careful with that. But at the same time, again, if you've done your research and you like what you see, then don't get too caught up with the price here. This has a long way to go, in my opinion. So again, not financial advice, but, really take the time to understand what they're doing because it is legitimately game changing. Alright, so back to what I was saying earlier. When I own a stock and it runs up, I'm looking at the business, I'm not looking at the stock price. What does that mean? Well, in simple terms, even if a stock goes up 2x, 3x, 5x, 10x like this one has since I bought it, it doesn't mean sell automatically. Every stock and every business is different. You could employ the strategy of selling to get your initial back, and I understand that strategy. I mean, I use it sometimes as well, but that strategy isn't always the best or the most accurate for that specific stock. Now, I can't tell you what you should or shouldn't do, but what I can say is to analyze each situation deeply. Think big picture about what the total addressable market is, how big of a problem does it solve, how solid the management team is, and is it moving the world forward? Think about the ceiling, and then take your own investor profile into consideration, because that's important as well, right? Do you have the stomach to handle volatility? Because a lot of people don't. Have you spent enough time researching into the company and into the sector to give you enough conviction to hold through drops and spikes? Because a lot of people don't. Are you patient enough to hold until the company matures? Because a lot of people don't or aren't. These are questions you need to seriously ask yourself. If there's anything I want you to take from this video, it's this: conviction breeds patience, and patience breeds massive gains. So keep that in mind, and write it somewhere. Put it on your phone. Write it on your forehead for all I care. But write it somewhere and keep that in mind, because that's how the market works. So that wraps it up for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and that it gave you a good insight into why Humbl is shooting up and why it has a lot going for it as a long-term hold in my portfolio. And guys, if this video brought you some value, then please hit that like button for me, as it really does help the channel a lot. And let me know in the comments if you got into TSNP stock in December or even January. And if you want more content like this, then don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell to be notified when any new video comes out. And of course, check out the Patreon if you want access to all of the perks, like our awesome Discord server, and access to all of my stocks and plays in a timely fashion, like TSNP, and much, much more. And until next time, take care and invest smart.